Hi everyone! Welcome to another school year here at Connecting Waters. We are so excited to be back at it. I have a new Math Monthly for you for August 2021, and I'm doing things just a little bit differently. Normally we pick a couple of vocabulary words, one at primary, intermediate, and high school level math, and we talk about a strategy or a standard that goes along with them. To kick off the school year this year, I'm doing it a little bit differently. Our vocabulary for the month is actually just the standards, the Common Core standards for mathematical practice in particular. So each grade level has standards for math, but these Common Core standards for mathematical practice are overarching for all grade levels, and they describe what we truly want and what we mean when we say growing mathematical thinkers here at Connecting Waters. So I thought it would be fun to just kind of talk about them as an overview this month and give you a resource to use so that you can set yourself up for the year with these things in mind. So what I did was I made a series of posters that you can print out and you can laminate them, you can hang them up in your schoolroom, have them around for your students, and they just take those standards and break them down into student-friendly language, just like our ICANs do for the grade level standards. If you're not using the ICANs, I recommend those. Those can be found on the math department webpage, and they are a fabulous resource as well. I just want to remind you as we're going through these, though, that your attitude this year with your students about math really matters, and to try to get yourself of the mindset that everyone can be a math person. There's no such thing as a math person or a not a math person. As we go through these and talk about them, I think you'll realize that what these standards are asking of us is really just good problem solving and critical thinking. And those are skills we all have. It's not as specific as those nitty-gritty skills that we work on at each grade level, and those are important too, but this is the big picture of what we want to accomplish. And I hope that that gives you a little bit of hope and inspiration for this year, that we can really take that attitude that everyone can be a math person. So let's go through what some of these standards are. The first thing we want for our mathematical thinkers is that they make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. So as you can see, I've kind of broken this down, and you can read the full text of the standards on the website, and I'll have that linked. But this is just some student-friendly language to talk about what we want them to do. Draw a picture, decide where to start, look at what information is given, and think about how to use it. Again, these are great skills for any kind of problem that they tackle in life. We also want them to reason abstractly and quantitatively. So that's kind of a mouthful, but just going back and forth between those real-world situations and how to represent it using an equation or an inequality or a graph or some sort of mathematical, theoretical tool to represent what's happening in the real world. We want our students to construct viable arguments and critique the arguments of others. Now, as a parent, you may be less excited about that. I know I don't always want to teach my girls to be more argumentative, but this is actually a really important skill. We want our students to be able to express themselves really clearly, and we want them to look at the information that's being given to them and decide if it's clear, if it's truthful, if it makes sense. That's a skill that will serve them for their whole lives. We want our students to model with mathematics. They can make predictions. They can try a model. If the model doesn't work, they can try a better model. That's such a great skill for them to learn to analyze what went wrong and how can we do it better. We can think about what's reasonable in the problem as well without losing sight of the big picture. We want our students to use appropriate tools strategically. Every student should have a mental toolbox of math tools. They can be formulas, algorithms, theorems. It could be physical tools, a ruler, paper, pencil, a graph. Could be a calculator. I love calculators. I actually love graphing calculators. I love Desmos. And I think it's important that we remember that those tools are there to serve us. And computers are fabulous. And so we might as well take advantage of what they can do, keeping in mind that the human brain is so much more. And so we need to use our critical thinking skills to tell the computer what to do, or the calculator or the tool. But it's not always worthwhile to use our time and brain power to actually execute that thing. It's kind of a great tool that we have that can help us execute something, but we get to be in control of what it is that we're doing. We want our students to attend to precision. A lot of times we'll ask them to approximate something or think about the reasonableness, but there are also situations when precision is extremely important, and we want them to be able to recognize that. you would want your doctor or your nurse to really be precise in the level of medication that they were dosing, right? We don't want them to give you a liter when it should be a milliliter. So it's important that our students recognize when precision is important and what level, and are able to accomplish that. Our last two kind of go together. We're going to look for and make use of structure. I tell my students all the time that mathematicians are actually very lazy. They're really looking for shortcuts all the time, and they use patterns to help them do that. They also use regularity and repeated reasoning, so they notice things that are happening over and over, and they can chunk information to help them see how the whole and those little parts relate together, and perhaps create a shortcut on how to get through all those steps. All right, so I hope that you'll use this resource. I hope that you are set up for a really positive year of math and to help your students develop a positive mindset around math. And I am always here as a resource if you have any questions or need anything. Have a great month of teaching.